So the group has gotten to First Wall. They're in looking for clues as to why they were attacked in the middle of the night and who is after their new companion Nisdrith, the Warforged. Let's see what they find out. The town of First Wall is really big. The town itself is set up pretty nicely. You have what appears to be a large residential area as you kind of come into it, and it's set out on a grid. It's rounded corners on the edges of the town. The walls are keeping it all secure. But you can see a lot of foot traffic here. There's a lot of people moving back and forth. This city is actually very, very busy. There are some signs as you guys pass in through the walls. One that's leading to an inn called the Moonspire Inn that's straight ahead. You have High Street that's to the northeast. There's a sign that's kind of arrow pointing up and to the right. High Street is where you're going to find a lot of your marketable items and basically shops. You have your Temple District to the southwest. And that's pretty much what you're seeing right now is certain terms of directions. It's a pretty busy place, though. There are humans, and you see hobgoblins kind of making their way through the streets. Probably most are going, it seems, down either into the housing rolls or down the street. There are some horses here and there scattered about. You, of course, as you enter the city proper, get that smell of somewhat open sewage systems. Clearly, they're not very refined in terms of the magic being used to kind of help sanitize the city. So it's got a strong, pungent aroma that immediately kind of assaults your nostrils as you guys kind of wheel in on the cart. And Liam up front kind of clears his throat and goes, all right, so where are we going, lads? Oh, and lass. Sorry.
Hey, boss, didn't your letter say something? Particular location they were supposed to come back to?
Yeah. Not a specific location, just this little town. There were symbols, almost like family crests, on the items that I found. Could ask around about that. I'm assuming there's a place like this. I'm sure there's plenty of little watering holes where people go to drown their sorrows and trade rumors. I'm sure we could find such a place and start asking around.
A city this side's got to have a couple of different types of taverns or inns or something like that. Do you all want to go start searching for some? I'll get the horses, see to a blacksmith, get them reshoed or check out the shoes, make sure the wagon's in operating order after the attack.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so I'll leave you all to it then. Why don't you all hop off? I'll find you. Can't be that hard.
How about worst case scenario? If we don't find each other in about 4 hours, we'll meet back here inside the entrance. How about that?
It works for me. And Ring just kind of nods. He's like, all right, I'll stay with Liam then. Make sure the bodies are taken care of fine. Maybe we can find another priest to recast the repose.
I'll hop off.
Yep.
You guys all disembark the inn. You guys disembark the inn on wheels, which is your wagon. You guys disembark the wagon, and you land on this cobblestone street beneath your feet. Luckily, in the heat and the traveling, the mud on your bodies has kind of dried, so once you guys jump off and hit the rock ground, a lot of that kind of flakes off and just turns to just dirt and dust. So you actually, after a stomp or two of your feet, all that mud built up on the soles of your boots and like maybe up the sides of the boots and maybe on some of your calves, kind of just flakes off and falls to the ground. Now, you do catch a lot of sounds of activity from farther into the city. You can hear, it sounds like people howling at each other back and forth. You can hear the talks of children playing in some of the little forest areas or the ground areas here. You can hear basically the sounds of a city that's just alive. And as you guys kind of get your bearings, Liam will kind of go forward with the wagon, and you'll hear the horses' hooves beat off of the cobblestones, and the wheels on the wagon just kind of go over the dirt and the grime that's left on the streets, and they start pulling to the north and to the west, leaving you guys at the entrance. You have signs that will, let me put you guys on the board, signs there that will point towards at least one inn that's close by, which is the Moonspire. Since you're all in one group, I'd say use the golden ring of magic to help you navigate around. You can see down to the southwest of you, it's all these massive housing structures. Some individual homes, but most are built like together, like a series of like larger homes that have kind of built into one massive building. Those are down to the south, a little bit to the west of you. To the north, there are smaller buildings, like those, like maybe 2 or 3 family homes and units that are up above you. You can see a small orchard that's a little bit further down the street towards the center of town.
All right, where are we going?
I'll look to Voss. Voss, you're where do you want to go, man?
Well, I don't know about anybody else. After such a long journey, I could use a drink. And I'll start heading off into town, looking for the first signs of the nearest inn or tavern or something, and that's where I'll take us.
So you get to the next cross street over, which is probably about 2 or 3 blocks in. You can see that there's another sign for the Moonspire that's straight ahead. You do see there's one for Johann's Tavern that is pointed down directly south down the street from you. But as you get to this corner and kind of check out the signs, there's this dirty individual. Looks like it's probably human, but you can't really tell too much. It's covered in grime and a bit of dirt, and his clothes are more like rags than opposed to anything nice. And he kind of, shuffles up to you guys. It's like, hey, mister, you and your friends, spare any change? Change?
What's the smaller unit under steel?
Under steel would be your silver. And then you got copper at the bottom of the rung.
All right. I mean, surprisingly enough, Pernell actually does take out about 5 copper and hand it to the guy.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. You are so kind, so kind. Do you need a guide while you're in town? I will help you. What do you need to find? What are you all looking for? And as he puts the coins you give him into an inside pocket in his jacket, Voss can see a necklace underneath the collar of his jacket or of his shirt. It's kind of similar to the chain that the medallion you have is on.
I will pull out one of the medallions that I took off of the bodies, and I will say in Thieves' Cant, looking for where this came from, and I'll flash the medallion.
You kind of pull it out and put it in his view, and as you kind of drop your message in Thieves' Cant, he looks up at you and responds. I know where that's from. You were at the guild?
Yes.
He'll switch back to just common. I am so sorry. He'll actually hand Sybil back her money pouch. I didn't mean to. If you're in the trade, that's kind of it's rude. But if you want to know where that's from, you should probably go talk to the boss.
Who's the boss?
Well, normally this is the type of thing I would charge for, but given that you are essentially extended family, right? It's Omtak. Omtak runs the place. He's a hobgoblin, kind of got a cruel streak. If you're doing business here in First Wall for the first time, I'll just let you know that right off the bat, can be a real big asshole. But head down to the Temple District. There's a massive tower that spirals up. Looks like a dedication to the gods. It's not. It's been abandoned for a long ass time. Around back, there's a cellar entrance. Head down there. That's going to take you down into the guild headquarters.
All right.
Oh,
sounds like.
Watch the 3rd step and the 6th.
Noted. Well, that sounds like as good a place as any to start. Now, as you said, you normally would charge for such services, and you should know I appreciate the kind gesture, but you can totally take her money. It's hers, not mine. So help yourself. You got to make a living somehow, right?
It'd be rude. I got more people to fleece. Don't worry about it. He kind of chuckles, and you see him kind of as he moves off. The shuffle he had when he walked up towards you is completely gone. He's just walking casually as he crosses the street. Once he gets like maybe a quarter way down the next block, he's back to shuffling, like looking like he's injured, kind of nursing one leg, and heading towards people that seem to be arriving from the gate.
Hey, everybody's got their own hustle. I'll turn back to everybody else. Temple District it is, I guess.
Guess so. Off we go.
So you guys,
I'm gonna start whistling a tune, a little upbeat to kind of go with our shuffle, and I'm gonna give Sean bardic inspiration.
okay,
That's still a D6 at your level?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Show is
you'll make your way down south. You'll pass a small tavern on the end of the street here that's called Johann's. You basically walk right past this massive gated mansion. Right across from it are a bunch of tenement housing for the residential district. On the edge of the street is this really nice but narrow 2-story tall inn/pub. That's where you hit the border of the temple district. After that, you start seeing a lot of like nicer residences. You'll actually see like ponds or little like lakes that have been kind of made to rest within the city itself. And as you start traveling west down the street, you'll start passing all these different temples to the various gods of good and neutrality. There are no open temples that appear to be set up for any of the gods of evil, but there are definitely temples to Galeen the Book. There are some to Zivlev for foresight. There are some to Kiri Joloth. There's definitely a lot of different styles within the structures. The neutrality gods are more of a very practical, like modern style in terms of their architecture, whereas the gods of good and light are more like Corinthian pillars, very Athenian in structure, and usually carved out of like white stone. And as you get down towards the edge of the temple district, you can see that circular tower that he was talking about, your beggar friend. It's just bottom left of the city. It's just very southwest point, right across the street from where the walls are that keep you from the outside. You can see as you guys walk around, Voss can pick out where that cellar is that your friend was talking about. Now, the building itself seems abandoned, but with a skilled eye, anybody trained in perception, in essence, can see that in some of the abandoned buildings' arrow slits, you'll occasionally see a shadow pass by as if somebody's taking a look out the window and walking right past it. So it's clearly occupied to some extent. What do y'all want to do?
Well, I'll turn to Nizdrith, and I will say, before we go any further, this Amtok person probably knows more about your situation than anybody else does. I don't want to make decisions for you. So we're here at the doorway, basically. Where we go from here is sort of up to you, since this is kind of your journey, I guess.
Knowledge is still power in this time, yes?
Yeah, it is.
Then the more we know, the better.
If you don't mind the pound of flesh it'll take to get it.
I do not have flesh. Is there a trade value?
It's like, good for you. We do.
I would very much like to keep mine.
You skinned an ogre.
Yes, it's mine now.
That has to weigh a pound, at least.
15, actually.
Speaking of which, I'm sure there's a place we could find what you were looking for, the gem, right?
Yeah, you probably want to get that skin tanned at some point so it doesn't start to rot.
Yeah, you guys can definitely see that at like High Street. That'll have all your shops and like tanneries and blacksmith shops, things of that nature.
So we could swing up there after this before we head out, provided we find everything we need to here. Shot in the dark, but worth it, right?
Yeah.
Remember, 3rd and 6th steps. We don't want to go on those.
The tree bark slurry should protect it for a day. But yes, I'll need to go to a tannery.
Then, yes, let us get information and then shop.
Now, is this something we'd all be welcome to, Voss? I assume not.
If they're
I
with
can
you,
go to temple while you're doing that. If
Yeah,
I
I mean,
shouldn't be tagging along with you.
I wouldn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. Anybody who wants to come with me is welcome. As long as you're with me, you should be okay.
Fair enough.
I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, I'll come with. That works.
Now, Ray, when I got the parchment and I got the medallion, I made notes on my sheet and they didn't save.
oh no.
So I'm sort of, if you wouldn't mind, I could use a refresher on what all was
Sure.
said.
No problem. So in the parchment you have, just a quick, look at it, you unfurl it and look at it again. Essentially, it's in this cipher using thieves' cant, and you decode it with the etchings on the back of the medallion that you picked up off the other body. What you can come to figure out is that they were given instructions to get the package and bring it to First Wall. Now, beyond that, there's no other instructions, but they were told, well, they do definitely make note to keep the ogre outside. For whatever reasons, just keep the ogre outside. But they were supposed to bring the package to First Wall to meet with their contacts. So apparently, the Dutchan went that they got hired to do a job, so either through the Thieves Guild or under the radar to come attack you guys, steal that one box, and come back here and deliver it to somebody else.
All right. And here we are with the package.
Up and walking, but yeah.
Well, fuck
right.
it. No guts, no glory. Let's go.
Basically.
All right.
Yeah, we'll head into the entrance.
And watch the third step and the sixth.
Yep, that's right. Skip those.
Carol goes and starts heading towards the temple district. What is your personal guide is Mishakal, obviously. So you'll seek out her particular temple. You will find one. It's very nicely done. When you step into the temple itself, you hit with a scent of rosemary and offerings like incense is burning, for example. It's a place for quiet prayer, but it also doubles as a hospital, essentially. People who are sick, people who are wounded will come here and be tended to by the clerics of Mishakal. If there are any actual clerics on site, they can use their spells to heal them. Otherwise, the people who tend the temple itself are trained in some medicine and some herbalism, so they can start to tend to some of the more not so serious hurts and injuries. It's a calm place, though.
I will lend my skills.
You go in and start working with your holy symbol, and people recognizing that you're an actual cleric. Those that can actually sense such a thing will actually give you a bit of difference as you kind of move among the crowd. You'll learn a couple of different names for some of the workers that are there, the helpers that are unskilled in the divine, but are skilled in more like practical methods of healing. And it's interesting. A lot of the injuries you're seeing here are, unsurprisingly, stab wounds or people who are recovering from being sick, a la poison or other things of that nature. There are, of course, some accidental injuries like broken bones or, rashes or things of that nature that people are tending to and making salves and ointments. It's oddly calming to work in that type of arena once more. Now, those that get into the Thieves Guild super secret area, as it's been called, the guild house itself, or at least part of it, will actually start going down these tunnels. You'll make your way past the third and the sixth step as instructed. As you make your way down, though, you can see where it looks like there are either arrow holes or something that would come out of the wall and the ceilings had you stepped on those steps, more than likely. Definitely trapped. And as you make your way further down, you will actually see a couple other false steps that look like they're triggers that you'll manage to bypass. Nothing too big. Looks like they're more there to be scary as opposed to actually be hidden, because they look really obvious when you see it. The stone type is different than the stones around it. It doesn't sit flush with the rest of the stairs. They're obvious. But you make it down here, you can see that there's some candlelight and some torchlight illuminating these passageways. You come down to this first bend, you have two ways you can go. Go down straight south, where you can hear the sounds through that passageway of people talking and chatting a bit casually. Sounds like drinks are being poured. And from the west, you can also hear some subtle discussion.
Oh, let's go west.
You basically come upon this doorway. The door is slightly ajar, and from inside you can see it's well illuminated. There's a smell of tobacco being smoked as well as cooked food. Subtle spices, nothing too pungent or too overpowering, kind of just flowing through the air. It's a bit cooler down here since you are underground. It's probably around 60 or so degrees, but the air is surprisingly clear, which for anybody who's worked in any sort of underground at all or has kind of done the dungeon crawl type stuff in terms of sewers, aka other Thieves Guild members such as Voss, that means there's probably another entrance somewhere within this area that's allowing air to filter through. And it's not being stagnant. It's not stale. But pushing through that door, you can see that there are two individuals at this table on the north side of the room, a male and a female. They're talking, having, looks like some either some type of fowl has been roasted. They're kind of sharing off a plate. On the southern end of that room, you'll see this man. It looks like he's in beggar's clothing. He's actually taking off this like very filthy jacket, and it looks like he's kind of changing clothes. Like he's getting out of this, putting it in a bag, and putting on like a nicer jacket. Almost looks like a merchant's coat that he's putting on, ironically. And as you kind of walk in, he turns back and looks at you as he's got his breeches half down. He goes, "Hey, who the fuck are you?"
Member from out of town. I'm looking for Talk.
It's in the back room. Who the fuck told you we were here?
I ran into another member. I didn't get the guy's name. The beggar who scams people out front.
That's like 20 of us, but okay.
Oh,
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
whoever's shift it is right now. I don't know what his name was.
Oh, gotcha. Back room right now. He's talking with Emez and Portrain. They're just doing business shit. Nothing too serious, so you can go ahead and knock.
All right.
Oh, hey, out of towner. As he kind of pulls up this new pair of pants,
Yeah.
he's a little testy, so don't mind attitude. If you got any rank, you might want to pull it. Yeah,
Appreciate the tip.
yeah. The two that are at the table just north of you as you guys kind of walk in, the female, she kind of raises a glass, takes a sip of her drink. The other guy looks like he's pouring himself another glass of wine from the pitcher that's on the table there. He doesn't say anything. He just watches all of you walk in. He does let his eyes settle on Nizdrith for a second. Doesn't say anything, just kind of staring for a moment.
I'm gonna try and read that reaction to see if that's a reaction of recognition or if it's something else.
That will be a definite roll. We'll have you use your
Insight?
Please say perception.
insight would be the appropriate one because you're trying to gauge his mood.
Insight I can also do. I cannot do it well. I rolled a 1.
Well, you can always use my bardic inspiration if you really want. And
Yeah,
add
it adds a
D6.
To add a D6. Yeah, that's a doesn't sound like a very good plan. I don't know. Is this dice
Save
worthy?
it for something better.
Is
Do
this a bonus? I'll use a bonus dice.
Okay.
16.
Okay. It's not recognition. More curiosity. Because one, who wears armor under robes? That's got to be hot as fuck. And two, she is pretty tall.
All right.
It's more of like
what?
a
6'4" ass.
an evaluation in his look as opposed to that's what that is. No recognition, no hint of any alertness in his eyes. Just kind of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
Alright,
6'4".
Because I'm about to try and pull some shit, and it would be nice to know ahead of time if anybody recognized this. But let's see. Let's see if I can pull some shit while I'm playing not a charisma-based character, Jeff.
Sean trying to pull some shit?
And
No.
who does that? Who
When
is
does that ever happen?
Chet.
So you got the
All
wooden door
fucking Chets in the world.
in front of you. You can hear a couple of voices, not hushed, but the door's doing a lot to mute the sound. But they're definitely conversing right now. You hear the occasional like clattering of silverware, and it sounds like flagons being put down on tables.
I will knock.
You'll knock, and the voices will die. You hear this really like rough voice. Who the hell is that?
Name's Voss. I'm from out of town, here to see Talk. I was told to come and see him.
Well, Voss from out of town. You've already walked in this far. Might as well come through the damn door.
I'll just open the door and walk in.
You'll push the door open and you'll manage to see this large table is kind of spread out. It's barely managing to fit within the room and allowing room for the chairs to be on the outsides. Like as you open the door, you've got maybe 2 feet and there's a chair in front of you. And then there's a chair and a chair on either side as well. The table itself is probably 4 feet wide by about, I'd say 15, almost 20 feet long. On the far end to the north of the room, as you walk in, so you look to your right, you'll see this hobgoblin wearing a nice cloak, and it looks like studded leather armor, and he's leaned back in a chair to where the chair's got to be tilted on its back 2 legs, and he's got a flagon, looks like of ale by the head in one hand. Directly across from the door, you will see this darker skinned male. He's wearing a green cloak with like also studded leather, but he's got an eye patch over his left eye. To his right, so as you're looking at him to his left, you will see this elven woman with like a darker complexion, but she's got red hair. Her ears kind of point out out to this, out of her hair to either side. She's wearing no armor whatsoever, but she is wearing like nicer clothes. They're traveler's clothes, but they are nice. They're a good quality and they're actually kept quite clean. It looks like you caught them in the middle of some sort of dinner. They all have like a small like game hen in front of them as well, and flagons of ale. Well, the hobgoblin is actually holding his, but they all have ale.
Real sorry to interrupt your meal. I'll like pull back my cloak a little bit so that the little pendant that I have shows, but I'll reach in past that and grab the piece of parchment that I lifted off the body. I will set that on the counter. Just thought that you might like to know that the little group that was sent to retrieve what's mentioned in that parchment didn't succeed.
How the hell you know that from the hobgoblin?
Because when we got there, they were dead. And there was no package.
Well, I know they're hitting a wagon. Did you find fucking wagon trail? And second off, why the fuck do you give a shit?
Professional courtesy. Passing through, saw the tracks, led us here. Walked in, was told you're the guy to see. I've got a soft spot in my heart for the guild, being a member from Sanction. Thought I'd come by, see what's what. And I'm interested in what this package was. It sounds like it was something real important. So I thought maybe by coming in, being up front, and reporting this information to you, that might buy me a little bit of goodwill to find a little bit more information out.
Go ahead and roll your deception.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
It's a 19 on the head of the guild's side. 17 plus 2.
I'm going to use that Bardic Inspiration dice.
Yeah, buddy.
Ooh.
I got a 24.
24. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
buddy.
Got a 6 on the Bardic Inspiration and an 18
are
on the
the
check.
slickest liar.
You lucky son of a bitch.
I'm not even trained in deception, guys. I'm not supposed to be
You're welcome.
fucking Jeff.
I am trained in deception.
You know.
Fucking Chet.
Yeah, the dude with the 19 charisma, Okay, all right.
So,
Cool, Jeff.
You're older.
Cool.
What do you want?
I'm
I
taking,
gave you inspiration, bro.
and it did help. You would have
Yeah, it
lost
did.
by 1 if you
Yeah,
didn't have
it
Bardic
helped.
Inspiration.
It did. I'll give you that.
So the hobgoblin will kind of nod, and you'll hear the chair just kind of slam down to the ground as he kind of leans forward and actually puts his arms down on the table in front of him. The flagon of ale that he was holding gets put to the side, and you'll hear it kind of push across the wood of the tabletop, and he looks at you. All right, fair enough. Appreciate the heads up. Unfortunately, I'm going to be the one to let his family know he's fucking dead, apparently. If you got that, he'll just point towards the pendant that you have.
Look, if it would be helpful, I'll go let the family know.
You sure you want to do that, friend?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Listen, the light breakers, I mean, I'm a friendly guy. The gentleman with the eye patch will actually kind of chuckle at him saying that, and the girl will laugh as well, but a little more heartily as she goes to take a drink. And the hobgoblin's like, what? I'm a friendly guy. Anyways, his sister's in town. I know he's got family and Sanction. Why don't you just hit up the sister? She can let them all know what the fuck happened. I'm not going to deal with it. It takes it out of my fucking hair. If you really want to do me a favor, though, I'll pay you for this. You let the contractors know that they can't be delivered.
How angry are these contractors going to be?
I don't know. How angry do the Knights in Naraka fucking get?
Fair enough.
History.
Sure, go ahead and roll your history. For those that wish.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Nothing.
7, no.
I'm
11.
gonna take a dice for that.
Dade's got a 10. All right.
Kind of important.
Fuck. I'm even trained in that.
Fuck my life.
We're just not meant to know.
Same roll.
So both it's a relatively simple difficulty. It's only a DC 10 since these guys were major players. So both Jorg and Dade will get this. Dade probably because Sanction, and Jorg because he's so close to Sanchrist. Basically, the Knights of Naraka were what the Knights of Takhisis became. They were the knights that were dedicated to the Dark Queen. Now, after the Dark Queen And all the madness went when the world was taken away from the gods. They became the Knights of Naraka. As they lost the vision, they lost their connection to their goddess. They just became the Knights of Naraka. And they kind of took over a good portion of the continent for a while. They took over Palanthas for a good period of time before the Emperor came in and retook it for his version of the Knights of Solamnia. Now they're basically, again, based out of Naraka and the Cacalus Mountains. So this is kind of their area of operations still in Throt, where you guys are at. They are technically, if you want to put game terms into it, lawful evil knights. They are considered dark knights, 100%. But they do follow a code, akin to the Oath and the Measure for the Solamnics.
Some were former Solamnics.
Some were, yeah.
All right, well, tell me where I can find the sister and tell me where I can find the contractors, and I'll be messenger boy.
Well, yeah, fuck it. So the knights you can find, they're at a place called the Swallowed Bile, north by High Street. Big tavern, can't fucking miss it, right? Sister, she's gonna be hard to find. Usually she spends her time at Johann's down the street. Just head straight east, right? It's right on the edge of the residential and temple districts. She's usually down there. She goes by the name Tara. Find her wearing like a green cloak with a nice brooch. It's always her signature. Can't tell the woman to fucking not wear it because she sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. But she's out there. Dark hair, tan skin, human.
I think we'll be able to find her.
It'd be easy enough, I would think.
All right. So what was this package anyways? I mean, it sounds like it was something valuable.
I don't fucking know. I wasn't the one who got hired for it. I facilitated, but I didn't go out. The knights wanted to talk to somebody about it. I sent up, poor old deceased Mr. Lightbreaker. Man, Yoma, he was real eager to prove himself to do this shit, but looks like he didn't make it.
If there's nothing else, I'll kindly let you get back to your meal here.
Yeah, you can head back out the way you came in.
All right.
And if you need anything, don't ask. Pay.
Wouldn't dream of it. And I'll start heading out.
Okay. You guys heading back up top?
Yeah,
Yeah, unless Voss is leading us anywhere different, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take us out the way we came.
All right.
I'll wait until we're at least a good distance away from earshot from the arrow slits in the tower. Then I'll actually kind of reach up and clap him on the back and go, "Not bad, boss. Not bad."
It could have gone very, very badly. We're a little closer to finding some information, but now it sounds like we have to deal with these Knights of Naraka. Anybody know anything about them?
They're think of the Knights of Solamnia, but they're a bit of a darker bent. They followed I believe it was Takesis, back when Takesis was still the dark goddess. And then after the world was taken away from the gods, the Knights of Takesis became the Knights of Naraka. So they're dark knights in essence. Is the easiest way to put it. They're it's weird.
Very bad guys.
They follow a very odd concept. They're not good. They follow a dark bent still, but they're oddly lawful. Like they still follow the law no matter where they're at. Murder is still murder. Stealing is still stealing. But yeah, they're not good people. So
all right. So we're gonna have to lie.
Very bad guys. Very dangerous.
We're gonna have to lie to them too. I'll turn to Nizdrith. Anything ringing a bell?
No, I'm mostly wondering if I'm supposed to be evil. I don't think I am.
well, not if you're
feel
well.
evil.
I'll just point like red robes. Isn't that like considered like neutral almost? Because I know the white ones are good, and the guys in the black robes normally deal with darker shit. So I wouldn't necessarily say they're evil, but kinda. Red is like that happy medium almost.
You're not supposed to be anything. You're supposed to
Be who you are.
be what you are. Make your own decisions. Forge your own fate.
Sounds about right to me.
Well, I don't want to be evil.
Well, we
So
do
I'm
need to
not
head
evil.
north. We do need to head north anyways. Do we want to head east first, or do we want to go north? Because that way we can also find a shop for York.
I tell you what. why don't you guys head off and find a shop? I'll meet you. I'll stop off and break the news to the sister.
Why don't I go with you and then they can go north, just in case.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Thought I would save everyone the.
Why don't we all go together in case she decides to take the news harshly?
I mean,
Fair
we could just kind of swing east and hit north, I guess.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Where do you guys want to head? Is it to the tavern
Sister.
first? Okay. So you guys pass the temple district and start making your way to Johann's. So Johann's is, again, that narrow 2-story inn that you guys pass. It's right by this massive mansion. It's a nicely decorated in the front inn. Well, it's tavern, not an inn, really. It's a 2-story tall tavern. 2-story bar. Pretty nice. As you guys get there, you will notice that there is another beggar outside the front door on the stoop. And there is a goblin whittling wood sitting on a bench right outside the door. As you guys approach, the goblin kind of looks up and is like, just kind of like grins at you, keeps on carving pieces of the wood off. You see flakes of wood just flying off onto the little like porch area. The beggar, as you guys walk up, is like, excuse me, can you spare any coin for a man that's on his last limb?
I'm just gonna flash him the pendant.
Fuck.
On the job, buddy. Sorry.
You guys head inside?
Yeah, I'll just head inside.
All right.
I'm into the industry.
Yeah, interesting. Is there a service night?
Right?
So
Industry night, right?
the tavern, as you walk in,
Jersey 405.
the tavern, as you all walk in, is very warm, very welcoming. You can hear this massive fire burning as you walk into the doors, and literally in the middle of this large room, there's this large fire pit that goes the majority of the length of the first room. It's surrounded by benches, and there's some stonework that's like almost like a quarter wall that's been built up, and it's casting ambers and just a little bit of smoke into the air. You can see along the right-hand side, if you kind of peek in, there's a large bar that kind of runs the length of the far wall. To your left, you have a couple tables. There are a couple people sitting around. You see at least one or so goblins just kind of sitting at tables talking among themselves. You can see there's a raven-haired woman who's wearing like this white dress with sleeves on it. She seems to be reading a book at the table that she's at. To your right, you see a hobgoblin in armor. Looks like it's probably one of the town guard that's on a break. You can see a couple other people here and there. There's like a waitress carrying food back and forth. There are a couple people in beggar's clothes in here that are just kind of warming themselves by the fire. Because, yeah, while it's 60 degrees outside, it's still a bit cold, so it's a little bit warmer in here. There's only a single bartender working the bar, but you can see in front of you, like across the room here, there's a set of stairs that goes up to the second level. You can see there's a doorway that leads into like a private area off of the main room. And from inside there, you can hear the sound of laughter that's kind of trickling out through the door.
Kind of looks like a big-ass Viking longhouse.
Pretty cool place.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look around to try and find this blue cloak wearing green cloak wearing female
With a brooch.
With a brooch. And if we don't see her on the main level, I guess we'll go up.
So as you walk around through the main level here, you can see as you peek through the side door for that other room, there's a woman wearing this green cloak, and as she's turning and laughing, you can see like black hair kind of flow out from underneath her hood. She seems to be talking to a woman with a darker skin, long black braided, like dreaded hair actually. That woman's wearing the breastplate of looks like a Legion of Steel. And they're just chuckling across the table. In the room, there's an old woman who seems to be cleaning things as these two are just chatting it up in this room together. They're speaking common.
Okay.
Why don't we make our way up there then? You said they're upstairs, right?
No, they're in the room off of the main area here.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
There.
Ooh, we will head over.
Yeah, I guess we'll make our way in.
As you guys step in and kind of reach through that side room, you'll see the woman in the green cloak look over at you. And as you now have a closer look, you can see she's got this really nice, looks like a leaf brooch that's kind of holding the cloak together. when she looks up, she looks at her companion, who immediately goes quiet. Now, the woman in armor is eyeing all of you. You can see her, she kind of like leans forward on the table with one arm and runs a hair through her dreads with her free hand. And as she does that, she pulls a dagger out from behind her neck and just throws it into the table and says, "Can we help you?"
Kind of.
Kind of.
We're actually here to help her. And I'll gesture towards the lady with the brooch.
The Legion of Steel member, she'll look over at the green cloaked woman and go, "Friends of yours?" And the girl...
Oh, no, we don't know each other.
Yeah, she looks over and she actually kind of turns in her seat and goes, "I don't know these fucking people. Who the hell are you?"
We were pointed in your direction as we have something that belongs to your family. We were traveling on our way and came across a scene where we found your family crest. And I'll point to Voss because he's the one that's actually got the crest.
Roll your deception, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Do not roll a 1, Jeff.
Better you than
don't
me,
tell me
sir.
not to.
She had an 18
Ooh.
on her insight.
I have
A
another die.
You have a 16, so you're using a dice. All right.
I think a 23 will take it.
23 will. However, she will use an NPC die.
Ooh. It's like that.
This is her brother you're talking about being dead. Yeah, it's like that. She rolled a 17. You still got her. And we'll jack up you guys' dice here really quick.
I will definitely play out like facial features like it's not personal, but we're sorry for your loss type of look on my face. Like, we're sorry to have broken this news, you know?
She kind of takes the measure of you for a moment. And you'll see her get really guarded at first as she's scrutinizing like your very body language. And as she sweeps her gaze, her dark eyes over the rest of you. But as you kind of put out the sincerity in your posture and your body language, she kind of relaxes. She's like, "Okay, should we talk alone then?"
Probably.
"Hey, Auntie, get the
you
fuck
gotta
out of
go.
here." And she actually points at the older woman. The older woman's like, "Oh, sorry." And you see she has a rag and looks like a service tray. And she'll just kind of move out of the room. And she goes to the main part of the inn itself. You hear her kind of bustle around outside there. And the Legion of Steel member, she kind of picks her dagger back up and she resheaths it behind her neck. And you can see her kind of lean back. And her chair kind of tilts backwards. It's leaning like on the edge of the fireplace. And there's a low burn in the fireplace, just embers right now. So it's not, a lot of firelight coming from it. But you do get that smell of that wood burning in here. And as the Legion of
just
Steel
kinda-
member looks you
I'm going to
over,
gesture to the chairs and be like, "Do you mind if we sit?" I mean, I'd feel a little out of place just standing on.
the knight looks at you and shrugs. The green cloaked woman just kind of gestures like, "Sit where you want. I don't really care."
I'll take a seat, and the reason I did that, Ray, is I don't want it to seem like we're standing over, like this could get hostile. I want to kind of diffuse the situation before it ever starts.
Okay. So is everybody taking a seat then around the table, just kind of filtering in?
I'll wait outside.
Okay. So Sybil waits outside. Anybody else?
I will also wait outside.
Okay. So for those that wait outside, you see the woman who's been reading that book. You get a close look as you guys kind of like wander out into the main area here. She's writing in a spell book. Looks like she's studying her spells. This is definitely a wizard of some sort.
And she's wearing white.
Yes, she's wearing white. Those that are filtering in and sitting down at the table, things seem to relax. And you'll see that as you guys all filter in and your party members, Sybil and the gnome that kind of walk outside, you'll see the woman in green will kind of lean over and close the door so that you guys are separate and a little bit private. She takes a sigh as you guys settle in. She's like, "All right, so what happened to Dumbass?"
We're not entirely sure. We stumbled across. The only reason we knew
Well,
where
was there
to
a body
go.
you have?
Well,
We can
I'll
tell.
just kind of defer to Voss. Yeah.
We can. Regretfully, we didn't have the capacity to be able to bring bodies with us, but we did bury your brother.
So you have directions to where where he's buried, like what he's.
It's the general area. It's about a day and a half travel.
A day and a half to 2 days southeast of here.
In the bogs?
In the bogs,
Yeah.
yeah. It sounds like, from what we were able to gather, we weren't able to find much, but we found a parchment made reference to a job to retrieve some crate. And it looks
And it
like that's what he
didn't go
was
their
there to
way.
do, and it didn't go the way that they had expected it to go.
I don't really know what the whole thing was. I just know he was excited to be working and getting a gig outside of, well, working in the city.
Yeah, we're not sure what it was about either. It didn't specify in the parchment. It literally just said it was it was a retrieval thing, some sort of box that he was supposed to bring back. I think it said back here somewhere for, I don't even remember, to contact whoever they were supposed to meet up with.
Yeah, fucking knights. These Dark Knights are a fucking problem. This is as bad as those fucking cultists, if you ask me. It's just causing problems.
What cultists?
You haven't been in town long, have you?
Just
We
got
just
here.
got here.
Yeah, they'll find you. Something like the red flame or the red winged fire.
I'll point north. I'll be like, you mean the encampment?
No. Probably related. Actually, I think they're related. It's a dragon worshipping cult. It's in town. One of the fucking one of the reps in town actually is a priest for them, whatever that means.
I remember just from like learning when I was younger that there were very powerful. They were called dragon knights back then, but I mean, I think they had priests and really powerful magics and shit.
You know what magic I give a shit about? None, because it doesn't put food on my fucking table. Right?
That's fair.
We all got to make a living. You guys, at least some of you, work with the guild in some capacity. You understand how that shit works. We do what we do not because we're greedy, but because we need to survive, and it's the best thing that we know how to do. It's just how it works out. My brother was a
Played his
fucking
skill set.
dumbass. Apparently went out and bit off some more than he could chew and got his ass perished. And now I got to find his fucking body and drag him back here or to Sanction to fucking get him buried. Because he's a fucking idiot. And these knights caused him to die. So they're on my shit list officially. And she'll look over at the Legion of Steel member who just kind of nods. And that girl goes, I told you they were trouble. Shouldn't fuck with them. Your brother shouldn't have fucked with them. They can't be trusted.
We were told they're actually not far from here. That there's several of them that are up north in the northern district at what was that bar called? I'll look over at Voss. The inn? The Bile something?
Swallow bile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're actually going to head there next to find out what the hell they were retrieving, what they were doing it for.
Yeah, and to let them know that job's not getting done.
Right.
Tara kind of shrugs. I'm not going to go fuck with some knight up the front. If I get them, it's going to be while they're sleeping. Really the best way to
That's
do
fair.
it. You don't want to get in a car with one of these fuckers because they got supporters everywhere. There's some shit going on with them that's... I don't know what it is, but there's something not right.
Well, like we said, we're going to see them next. So if there's any information that we might be able to provide you with after our visit that might help you in your little quest of vengeance for your brother, happy to let you know. Numbers, layout, it's the least that we could do.
Yeah, I'm staying here upstairs. I know Joseph, the owner, so...
I do have a question for you, though, since you seem to be pretty well informed at the moment. That, I'll point north, that contingent of that army, any idea what that's about? Like, is this some sort of staging ground? Have they been here long?
Well, usually they attack the town and steal our shit, but for the past couple months, they've been just kind of sitting there. I don't know what the fuck is going on this time. And that's the largest
little
force that I've
worrisome.
ever fucking seen.
Yeah, that's a massive army. That's definitely worrisome.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. I can understand raiding parties, but with a force that big, they could literally just trample over this place. So I don't understand. I don't know.
They've got to have a supply line coming in somehow to feed all those people.
Right. And the dragon's active. We saw it roar and fly up into the sky.
Can't place your accents, friend. And she'll actually just point a finger between Dade and Voss. Where are you guys from?
Sanction. I'm from
Sanction.
Sanction.
That's where we're from originally, anyways.
Oh,
You still got family there. Working with the guild. You know Thom?
yeah. Thom's my uncle.
No shit.
No shit.
That's fucking funny. Yeah, my mom cut her teeth learning how to steal, like, under his guidance. That's badass. Hey, anything you need, you come on back here, all right? And I appreciate you letting me know.
Appreciate the offer. I'm sure we'll take you up on it. And we'll be around a little bit if you need anything from us. We'll scope out these nights and see what information that we can get. Hey, if you don't mind, I'll show the medallion that I got from her brother. This was your brother's. I plan on giving it back to you. It's kind of come in handy around town. I'll drop it back off to you on my way out, if that's okay. I'd like to hang on to it while I'm here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you don't bring it
Again,
back, I
we're-
know who to go to get to you. So,
There you go. You know where to find me.
yeah.
And again, we're sorry for your loss. That's it's a shitty thing to have to tell somebody. Trust me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It is shitty. We all gotta make our way somehow, and I've got to get my vengeance in some way. And she kind of looks over at the Legion of Steel member, who just nods and gives her a soft smile. We'll make something happen. Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm sure we'll be in contact. Like he said, if we find anything out, we'll be back. We'll let you know before we leave.
Okay.
I'll stand up.
She'll just kind of give you guys a nod.
I'll stand and start heading out.
You guys all head out of Johann's and make your way back out into the streets. You guys are heading straight up to the Swallowed Bile. You're going to swing by and pick up your friend first.
We'll probably swing by and pick up
Ew.
Carol.
Well, we
No,
should
what,
at least.
what bothers me is we have a night of Solamnia that's cruising around up north, right by that fucking bar. That's what's bothering me. And I know he's not in his armor, but he's still a fucking knight. And somebody talks shit, and he's gonna try to whoop their ass. So,
Yeah, but he's going to a blacksmith and going to see about, also
Hey,
getting some
man.
stuff taken care of.
if shit's gonna pop off, it's gonna pop off there because of that fucking guy. I'm just saying.
Well, he does have Rin's with him to kind of,
Yep.
keep him
Oh,
chill.
white robed mage, right? Like, come on, this is a recipe for disaster right now.
And you want to take the good cleric near a bunch of evil knights?
Yeah, in case we need to be healed.
That's when we limp our asses to a temple.
Hey, they're lawful.
Where you'll still
they're
see me.
lawful.
They
evil,
are
so
lawful. That is true.
Those are at least you can talk to them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's chaotic ones you got to worry about.
yeah.
And the neutral ones.
Yeah. So for Carol, as you've been assisting here at the Temple of Mashakal and seeing to people's needs and hurts, you get dumbstruck for about a good 20, 30 seconds. As you're walking from one patient to the next, everything seems to darken around you. Like your vision grows faint. Everything noise-wise, all the talking of patients and the cries start to slowly die down into just a little murmur in the background of your awareness. And you find yourself standing in the middle of this, looks like a tomb. You see old school, like, knight sarcophagi laid out with the carvings of the individuals inside on top of
Okay.
them. There's dust layered on everything, like decades worth of dust. And as you kind of look around and try to get your bearings, you'll see in one corner there's a blue crystal staff that, and for your religion, was carried
Yep, I
by
know. Yep.
Gold Moon back in the
Gold
Native
Moon,
War Lance. And as your gaze sweeps past that corner, you see there's this effigy of all these little small belongings, like little pouches, a little knife, a little dagger, a bunch of weird belongings that don't seem out of place, but they've all been gathered in one spot. And as you sweep past that, you see this staff in the corner, this dark mahogany wood. And at the top, there's this 3-clawed golden dragon's claw clutching this crystal ball. And for some weird reason, you get the impetus to go out and reach for it. But as you do, your vision ends. and you hear some of the supplicants around you, some of the attendants. Are you okay? Are you okay? You kind of spaced out there for a moment.
I have a question, Ray.
Sure.
Is this one of the visions that I normally get from my bonds?
No,
Okay. So it doesn't feel like that at all. This is something
completely different.
completely different. All right. I'll just kind of nod to them. I'll be okay. I just had a vision.
They just kind of nod. Oh, okay. As long as you're
I think I
all
need
right.
to meditate on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you need water or something?
Not now. Maybe when I'm done.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go off to meditate
Okay.
on what I saw, because this is to actually have seen healing strike, and I need to know what that other staff may have been. So I need to see if there's anything I can remember through meditation.
Knowledge history or knowledge arcana would work equally here.
Doesn't matter. They're both the fucking same.
Well, you have plenty of dice to give it a go.
Yes, I do.
14.
Yep.
Pretty good. Since it's tied to religion, I'll give it to you. Because the blue crystal staff was carried by a hero of the lance, as was the staff that you see in the corner, the opposing corner. And that is the Staff of Magius. Last wielded by Palin Majere against Chaos, the god Chaos, in the Chaos
Right.
War. Previously, before that, wielded by Raceland Majere, hero of the lance, and subsequent villain of epic proportions. The belongings on the floor, like the little effigy that was made, not effigy, but that little like offering area, were all according to stories, possessions of the Kender Tasselhoff Barefoot.
Okay, Ray. My character will now attempt to recall exactly any identifying marks on the sarcophagi that were in there, because I'm trying to determine if this is Tomb of the Heroes.
Good call. Go ahead and roll either your religion or insight.
My insight is better.
And if you need to die,
Yes! No, I don't.
22.
Yes!
Wow.
Carol has spent most of their time between traveling around, since I'm an Outlander, based out of Solace.
Most certainly, that is in the Tomb of Heroes outside of Solace. At that point in time, your compatriots will find their ways to you at the temple, since you were searching out your cleric before you guys went north.
I'll quietly approach and kind of just give him a nod.
You will see Carol's in meditation in the corner. And again, like when you guys walk in, you can tell this temple, it is not only a place of worship, but also a place where people come to get their injuries treated.
Yeah, I find it refreshing and comforting being here. This is not my god, but this is it's a good god.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem being in here. And as soon as he kind of opens his eyes and is aware of my presence, I'll be like, we're heading north. It's potential for some problems.
Okay. I think I found what I was looking for. Or what I was looking for found me. I'm not sure yet.
Good. I'll reach a hand out to kind of help you out.
I'll get up.
So just to give you a heads up, and I'll kind of lower my voice a little, we're going to have to talk with some knights in Araka.
Why?
Because they were the contact point
For what?
for the package.
Great.
Yep.
They want.
Yes, probably.
Okay.
It's either that, or when we get back outside and talk to everybody else, we just find the other two and we skedaddle, because it could unless we hide her or she stays outside, they're gonna look and probably know, like, she stands out.
Look at it this way, Carol. It's necessary to help out this poor, innocent woman who has no memory of who she is or what she is. And these knights might know that information. So really, if you think about it, this is the righteous and good thing to do.
Also, the the woman that we talked to and told about her brother, she is not a fan of them either. So any info we can get on them, we can pass on to her, and maybe make their stay here a little bit more harsh.
Fair enough.
All right.
Nizrith, did you want me to try and soften your sharper corners? I do have a kit that I have used for disguises from time to time that may help humanize you, or at least your silhouette.
If that is something that can be done.
Absolutely. I'll go to one of my saddlebags and pull out my disguise kit.
I will also pull mine out, and I will aid another.
All right.
I will assist him.
All right, so Dade will roll, but you'll have advantage because of the assist.
Okay, fair enough. So we will do the first one. And we're definitely going to use the assist.
14's not bad.
Yep, but 21's better.
21 is
Yes,
better.
it is.
So it takes a bit of work, but you put some padding in there and manage to use some of the way the cloth falls on the Warforged's body to smooth out that profile a bit. So it's not so much like somebody's wearing armor. She just was like a big woman under this
Very
cloak
tall
now.
person,
Yeah,
right.
very tall, very bulky woman. Like
But it
Brienne.
might not be as odd considering there was a fucking orc up in this bitch at some point. Like there's some standoutish people that come here, so
Well, the ogres were told to stay outside. So
I assume that meant outside not outside the town, but outside the stronghold. But I don't know that, so
and you'd have hobgoblins, so they're kind of muscular sometimes too. So
Right.
Hey, and half ogres. It could be a thing. Who knows?
right.
But
I'm
do
just
our
half
best.
orc. That's all.
you guys do
Half orc woman.
Yeah, you guys do a good job. It's gonna take somebody really, really, really looking. You make it work. It takes like probably 20, 30 minutes as you guys are in the Temple of Shackle, changing padding and working the way the folds fall across her body of her cloak. It takes a hot minute. And while you're doing that, the clerics here are still working around the injured, and they leave you guys alone to do your business. They don't really have any reason to interfere, and Carol has been helping them, so you kind of get the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Then you're all heading out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that's 20 or 30 minutes that our two friends could go get into more trouble, but it's a necessary evil.
Can I say that I had no idea how to feel about the characters flat out lying to the sister of the man that they murdered at their camp? I mean, it went interesting, and they're going to continue this facade as they move on to talk with the Knights in Iraq, I assume. So we'll see how that holds up for them, and if the Knights are more perceptive than the sister was. See you all next episode.